Hello, my name is Carl Surrey, and this is a video tutorial for the Facebook group called Fans of Serif Software. Now, in this video I'd like to look at plugins. Plugins are small programs, although some of them are not that small actually, but they are programs that will slot into PhotoPlus and work with it, alongside it, depends how you want to look at it. These plugins or programs were actually designed primarily to work with Adobe's Photoshop or Adobe Elements, but they do work with other programs like PhotoPlus. Not all of them do. Some it's a bit hit and miss in certain cases as to which plugins will work with PhotoPlus, and there is a list that you can download from the Facebook group files section that lists all the ones that have been tested by myself or other people, and it will tell you which versions of PhotoPlus that they work in. Many of them, the older ones, will work with 32-bit versions of the program, and some will work with just the 64-bit versions of the program. Where that is known on this list, that information is also included. Now, I want to have a look at finding a plugin, downloading it, and installing it into PhotoPlus. Now, on the website for the Fans of Serif Software, on the page, I'm very sorry, but I may pronounce your name wrong, but Attila Arva put this advert for the Google's Nik Collection for photo editing software, which used to cost quite a bit of money, $150, and it is now being offered free. Now, this is a plugin, and it will work with PhotoPlus. So you can, if you can see this advert that he has put up, if you click on that, it will open up a page that tells you a bit about it. It has some information about it. There's also a little video you can watch. But if you click on this Nik Collection that highlights here, it'll open up another page, which is the actual page where you can download the Nik Collection, and it is google.com/Nik Collection. And the actual page will tell you about the different filters within the plugin. You can sit here and watch it all, and it will tell you a little bit about it, or you can just scroll down here and it will tell you without the scrolling pictures and whatever. You can just read it at your leisure or find out more details as to what each filter selections will do. And a bit further down it tells you that with Windows it works with Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, and I can tell you it works with Windows 10. And obviously, like I said, it works with Photoshop. It does say that it doesn't work. Part of this, the HDR FX Pro 2, isn't compatible with Photoshop Elements. Now, in the quick test that I did, I think it does work with PhotoPlus. Right, so if we come back to the top here, there's a button over here where you can click Download Now. You click on that, select Windows version if you've got the Windows version, but there is only a Windows version of PhotoPlus at the moment. And down here it will be, if you've got Windows 10, it will tell you how fast it is downloading, and it take about 2 minutes. So I will come back in a minute when it has finished downloading. Okay, the little program has downloaded, and it is here, the Nik Collection -full-1.2.11.x. Now, it depends on where you've downloaded it onto your computer. I have mine just set up to download into the downloads folder. Makes it more easy to find. But before I actually run this, I just want to point out that I do have another plugins here, like this one, Kaleidoscope, which when you unzip it, it produces a single file, but you can just copy and paste this into the plugins folder in PhotoPlus. Whereas ones like this one, you have to run the little program, and then that will install the proper program into PhotoPlus plugin folder. I hope that makes sense. So it's normally the older and smaller plugins that will produce a single file that you can just copy and paste, and the bigger ones will take a little bit longer to install, and it will ask you where you want to install it. So if I just drop this down, and I have a desktop here, probably the quickest way to find where you need to install it is if you find your desktop icon for PhotoPlus, right click it, click on Properties. The Properties box will open, and I know it has slightly altered in Windows 10 from the XP version, which I upgraded from, but both did have Open File Location. You click on that. Now this will then display where the program for PhotoPlus is located. What we actually want is the folder before that. So if I click on X8, and as you can see down here, one of the folders is called Plugins. So what you need to do is make a note of the path to get to that folder. So in my particular case, it's this PC, but I think in earlier versions before Windows 10 it would just be the C drive. So it's this PC, Windows 10 Home, sorry, in my case, or the C drive, then Program Files, Serif, PhotoPlus, X8, and then Plugins. So if you make a note of that, it will make it easier to navigate to where you need to place the plugin. So I'll go back to the download documents, downloads, get it right, Carl, and I will double click this to run the program. And this is just the account control, so I'll just click yes. Alright, now the first thing it will ask you is the language you want to use for the installation. You have quite a few different languages, and you've got English United States or English United Kingdom, which I will select. Click OK, and just a little welcome page. Click next. You can agree to sort of send information anonymously, which I don't want to do, but you have to agree to the terms and services. Now this is where it asks you where you want to install it. Now by default it wants to put it into Photoshop, and it will sort of have a path ready set up for Photoshop. But because I've already done this before, it has remembered that I wanted to put this into Programs, Serif, PhotoPlus, X8, Plugins. But all you need to do is click Browse, and then find the one you want. So Windows 10 Home, Program Files, and to Serif, and PhotoPlus, then X8, and then just click on Plugins. You don't Don't need to click on anything else. If you have other plugins, just click on plugins and then click OK, and then just click next. Now it will just say compatible host applications, and it lists Photoshop Elements, and it's a 64-bit. Now I've tested this, not extensively, I've tested this in Photoshop 64-bit, but I have been informed that it will work on the 32-bit version of PhotoPlus, but there are some limitations. There are some parts of the program that won't work. So all you need to do now is click install, which I won't do because I've already installed this, but this is at this point you just click install and it will run the program and install it into PhotoPlus. So I will just click cancel here, and then I will come back in a second and be back in PhotoPlus. Okay, right, I'm now back in PhotoPlus and I've opened up this picture of a church in Clacton. Now the plugins will be in the effects menu, and you come down to the bottom and it says plugin filters, and then it will list any plugins that you have. Now I have quite a few that I've added. Topaz Adjust is one I paid for, and a lot of these other ones were free, and these ones are quite small, although no, I pay for Fractalus as well, but the other one's for free. This Nik Collection is the new one, and you have all the different types of filters that they've added. Also this hidden one, I've not checked this one out yet, but I don't remember that being there earlier. So this is, I'm guessing, is also part of the Nik Collection, or the Nik Collection will use those, and maybe I shouldn't be able to see them, but I will look at them at a later date, privately, not in a video. Right, I'm just going to have a look at a couple of these filters, not all. I haven't checked them out myself really, but one I will look at is the HDR FX Pro 2, which is the one that in the web page said didn't work in Elements. I click on that, and then it opens up a little program that sort of runs on top of PhotoPlus, and then down the left hand side here you have the different types of HDR effects, and if you click on one, this one's called Balance, and you can see how it affects the image that you've selected. And there are quite a few different types, and you can just keep going around until you find one that you like. See that one there where it says bright? That's quite effective. There are some black and white ones. That one's a bit weird. So like I said, there are quite a few. That one's very grainy. Granny's Attic. Where did they come up with these names? Granny's Attic. Sorry. And you get some that they think are best suited for indoor shots, and outdoor shots. So as you can see, there are quite a few presets. I haven't really checked whether you can change these very much. It doesn't really look like you can, but like I said, I haven't really gone into that so much. But if you just click OK, I've gone with graduated 1. It will then go back to PhotoPlus and make those changes for you. So it's doing the work for you. So plugins are quite good for people who are probably not that at home editing pictures, because they can't quite get to grips with all the layers and adjustments and what have you, or possibly don't know quite where they're going with the image. It's easier to have some presets to give you an idea, because even you got to this point, you could then alter it yourself a bit with adjustments just to fine tune it a little bit. What I do is I click undo, go back to my original, go back to effects, plugins, and I will look at the, which one should I look at? Silver Effects Pro 2, which if I remember rightly is just does black and white images. So again, you've got all these different presets. It does look like you have a bit more control here over some of how it looks. Again, I've not really looked into that side of things, but let me just pick that one, which is the high structure, harsh. Click OK. And then you see it's made a black and white image of that particular picture. So I'll just go back again and I'll have one last look at one of these. Let's go with Color Effects Pro. Now this does seem to have quite a lot of presets here, and you do seem to have some minor adjustments, like saturations of colour, but I'll just have a quick look at some of these. Colorize. So as you see, you could take forever trying to find one that you like. Glow. See if I can find one I like. Oh, let's go with high key and just click OK. And that's made a much brighter image. That's quite good actually. So as you can see, with a plugin, you get a little program that will take some of the hard work out of editing the program pictures. Some people hate plugins, and some people love them. I must admit, I've installed a few over the years, and to a certain extent, I forget they're there after a while. And so, as you become more proficient with editing your own pictures, you probably will forget that these are there. But you can get some pretty good ones. So I will, over the coming days and months, I will be checking out the rest of these and see which ones I like and which ones I don't. I haven't installed it into the 32-bit version of PhotoPlus myself, but like I said earlier, I am told that it does work to a certain extent, but not as well as it does in the 64-bit. So I hope that will give you some guidance as to finding a plugin, installing the plugin, and using the plugin. And like I said before, there is a list of plugins that I know work, and the web locations where they can be found and downloaded. And so I would advise you to sort of check them out and see which ones work for you. Thank you very much, and goodbye.